Hello, my darling specials. Annyeonghaseyo, my darling specials. Ohio, my darling specials. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing okay, and I hope you're taking care of yourself because you are such a gorgeous and precious queen. You deserve that, okay? I have to tell you something before I get into the topic of the day. I learned that Annyeonghaseyo, the greeting of Koreans, means are you at peace? So are you at peace? I hope you are at peace. Okay, so let's get into it. It's that time of the year, or rather it has been that time of the year. Which time am I talking about, you may ask? I'm talking about that time of the year when the conversations are Happy New Year, resolutions, goals. This year I'm going to be this year I'm going to be that. I can guess those are the conversations that are ongoing at this time of the year. Okay? Today, I want to teach you how to set goals and actually stick to them. Okay? Now, girl, I'm going to need you to go pick up your notebook because this is really going to be a really in-depth session. You need your notebook for this so you can take notes, okay? I'm giving you 2 seconds. Okay. Now that you have taken your notebook, let's start. Number 1. The first step to setting your goals and actually sticking to them is starting with last year's achievements. There's something about going through your gallery at the end of the year or at the beginning of the next year and looking at how your year was. For example, you pick up your phone, you go through your gallery, you look at the pictures, you see the evidence of how much you have actually achieved in 2025, for example. And noticing that is really, really powerful because you get to cheer yourself on, you get to feel very grateful that you achieved that much in the previous year, and you also get to know that if you achieved that much, just imagine what you can achieve in the next year, right? Like, actually just focus on what you have achieved. Of course, there are those things that you may have wished to achieve but didn't, and that's okay. You're human. There's still time. You are alive, and there is still time to keep embodying the characteristics of your dream woman. Okay? So that's the first step. Let's go to number 2. Now, as you begin the actual goal setting process of your new year, categorize your goals. You know, there are so many things that you can want to achieve, but are they truly aligned to your values? For example, another person's goal might be to travel in the next year, and for sure that sounds nice, but does that goal align with your values? Okay? An example of how I have categorized my own goals is into community, purpose, self-care, and all the other aspects of my life. Since I really value community, I have those things that I have planned to embody and be for my community this year. So as you set your goals, really think of it into categories of what you actually value. That way you actually follow through with your own word, because at the end of the day you value this. Because if one of my values is community, and I have told myself that I'm going to show up for my family this year, I will, because I value community, as opposed to just putting in a goal that is not directly linked with who I am or who I am trying to become. Okay, now let's go to the third one. You know what? You are alive. Life is very long and beautiful, and the fact that you already are alive is proof enough that the characteristics of the dream woman you want to embody is possible. So take your time. Imagine, take your time. Okay, slowly introduce yourself to new characteristics. Okay, let me give you an example. An example is, I want to be a G1 who works out in 2026. Okay, will I start working out for 1 hour and have not worked out for literally the whole of my life? How does that sound? It already sounds impossible just saying it. Now imagine how exhausting and scary it sounds for your mind. If your goal is to start working out, start with 5 minutes, then slowly but surely progress. If you work out for 5 minutes, you already are a version of you that works out. Like, you're already embodying the characteristics of your dream woman. Okay, think of it like going to the gym. Okay, you don't start lifting 100 kgs. You start with 5 kgs, then you progress, you go to 10 kgs, slowly but surely. Okay, number 4, do something that brings you joy, that will encourage you to do the hard part of the goals. Okay, for example, one of my goals this year is to wake up at 5 a.m. Waking up at 5 a.m. sounds so scary, but imagine I tell myself I'll wake up at 5 a.m. then the first thing I'll do is dance. I'll wake up at that 5 a.m. I will, simply because I have scheduled joy as my first thing in the morning. Therefore, whenever I think of waking up at 5 a.m., I think dancing. So what's one thing that brings you joy? Do you like building Legos? Do you like playing chess? Do you like singing? You can literally wake up and sing. For example, one of my goals this year is my purpose, which is empowering women and advocating for women's well-being. Literally, what I have done before this video is dance, because filming is something I'm still getting used to, and I'm slowly but surely introducing myself to it through doing things that bring me joy. Okay, number 5. So you have set your goals, you have categorized them into your values, for example, community, purpose, and all the things that matter to you and your heart. But now, how do you actually follow through? Okay, have a plan. Have a plan. Have one place whereby you document all your goals, all your life goals. What has really made it very easy for me is using Notion. Do you know why? Because I used to use handwritten diaries for my goals, and that can easily accumulate to 1 million diaries. But I want to be able to continuously check my goals, continuously review them, check whether they still align with who I'm trying to become, because some goals have an expiry date, okay? And you can only know that if they are in one place. Think of how it will be too much work to start looking for all your diaries to check what were my goals last year, what were my goals the previous year before that. You see? So if you document your goals in one place, you are able to check progressively and continuously to see whether they align with you, number one. Number two, you can use that one place to have a plan. For example, one of my goals might be creating content, okay? If I know that every Fridays are for filming, my mind already knows that. Now I don't start thinking, oh my God, when do I film? Oh my God, when do I sing? Oh my God, because there are so many goals that you can have, and having a plan and a system allows you to have this rhythm, this continuous process of just embodying the characteristics of your dream woman. Because if you're used to waking up at 5 a.m., you schedule your joy first, then maybe you shower. You see, it's a continuous rhythm which is very easy and predictable for your brain. So your brain does not have to keep making decisions each and every time of when should I do this, when should I do that. Just find a rhythm that works for you and stick to it. And by the way, this is not a paid ad. I'm not being paid by Notion, but it's just that a tool that has helped me very much, and I'd love that you use that for you because it will help you very much. Okay? Number 6. Phrase your goals in a way that seems fun for you. Let me give you an example. One of everyone's goals, I would imagine, is work. What if you phrase it like creating, especially if you're an artist? Another goal that someone can have is to have a consistent morning routine. What if you call that routine morning quests? And every day you wake up, you get to be in this, almost like you're acting, you're in a quest. You're like, how is this Jivan who wakes up at 5 a.m.? How does she feel like? How does it feel like to be her? You understand? Now it sounds like a quest. Now it sounds like something exciting for your brain to do, rather than, oh my God, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. Na 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 na. Okay? As you set your goals, remember to schedule time for rest, joy, and dilly-dallying, especially if you are a creative business person. If you're a creative woman, schedule time for rest, joy, and dilly-dallying. Those are the times where you get the divine whispers, where you get the ideas. Joy, rest, and dilly-dallying are very, very, very important for you as a woman, and especially as a creative woman. Okay? Next. Number 8. Find one way of killing a rat and stick to it. What do I mean? There are 1 million ways of killing a rat. Okay? For example, if my goal is to learn Notion this year, if I open up any social media platform, there are 1 million tutorials of how to go about Notion. How about I find one creator, maybe who has done a long form video, and follow their process from A to Z, and that's it. How does this relate to your goal setting process? Find one way that works for you and stick to it. need to set your goals in a vision board, in a journal, in a spreadsheet. If you have that one thing, even though it's a physical diary that works for you and you're able to follow through, that's enough, okay? Because having 1 million goal setting procedures leaves you stuck in the how to rather than actually actualizing your goals. Now you're stuck to, I have to do a vision board, I have to do a spreadsheet, I have to do all these things, instead of finding one thing that is my plan, and then now get to the process of embodying the characteristics of my dream woman, who usually follows through her own word and fulfills her goals, okay? Number 9. The reason why I am very insistent on saying that you place all your goals in one place is so that you can also find a rhythm for reviewing them. I'm sure I might have talked about this, but it's that important. That's why I'm repeating it, okay? Reviewing your goals and seeing whether they still align with you is very important. You don't need to carry goals that mattered to you when you were a toddler, but maybe they do not align with you anymore, okay? Number 10. One thing that's going to help you in actualizing your goals and sticking to the plan is discipline. So you have written your goals that are aligned with your values, you have kept them in one place, and you have a rhythm for reviewing and also a rhythm for how you are going to do your goals. Now you also need to stick to the plan. You have written the plan, but now stick to it. I want you to think of it this way. Discipline is true freedom. For example, I go to a social dance and I have decided that I want to leave that place by 9 p.m. A disciplined me would leave at 9 p.m. and she'd go home very easily. Maybe the modes of transport are abundant at that time, so she doesn't have to find a million other ways to get home. Now there's another version of me who decides, oh, it's 9 p.m. but I feel like extending. It feels so good. I feel like extending. What happens to her? Now when she leaves at maybe let's say 10 p.m, she has to think about how to get home, because maybe the modes of transport are not quite as many as at that time, and basically not following through with your plan is an opportunity to make another decision. You can get stuck in this loop of making other decisions, whereas you could just have followed through the plan and you'll be more relaxed, you'll be more, even in your body, you're feeling good, your mind is not constantly going. Now that I've changed the plan, for example, I plan to wake up at 5 a.m. and then I don't stick to that plan. Now I have to make a decision of when next to wake up. And do I really want that for me or for you specials? No, that's very tiring and unnecessary, honestly. Sticking to the goals is true freedom, okay? Reframe what you actually think of discipline, because discipline is true freedom. Number 11. I want you to know that you remain human, okay? Give yourself a percentage at which you allow yourself to be human. You'll make mistakes. you are going to feel very uncomfortable embodying the characteristics of a new version of you. Therefore, give yourself grace. If you don't wake up at 5 a.m., try and try and try again. As I told you at the beginning of this video, life is really long and beautiful. And the fact that you are alive is an opportunity to keep trying. Keep trying. If you don't do what you had planned to do, pat yourself on the back and keep it moving. Okay? Let's continue. Embrace side quests. Okay? Now that you have planned for, I would assume, a huge portion of your life, there are times where exciting activities just pop out of the blue. If you are a creative person, content creator, and you need your creative energy to run your business, side quests are very important. Okay? You can have goals of being healthy, of reducing doom scrolling. But what if you feel like watching a movie? Are you telling me that you'll spend all your life just only doing things that are predictable, and basically it's like you know how your whole life looks like? Is that what you're telling me? Here and there, be playful, embrace side quests, because that's the joy of life anyway. Okay? Another thing, one thing I'd love for you to understand is that you and your systems are in collaboration. Okay? Therefore, it only makes sense to create systems that work with you, that are factoring in how unique you are. Maybe my goal is to wake up at 5 a.m. That does not mean that it should be your goal. Okay? Especially if you know that waking up at 5 a.m. will leave you feeling groggy, like you need to drag yourself to each and every activity you're doing for the day. How about you wake up at a time that's more suitable for you? Okay? Another thing, there are times where what you have planned and how life is, there will be some disparities. Okay? Think of your goals like the official decision. For example, right now my goal is to film. That's the official decision. If something happens and I'm not able to film right now, that's okay. I just know that today was to film and maybe I can film at another time. Okay? Think of your systems as the official, especially when it comes to time, because you can decide that you start working at 12 p.m. but then something happens. Now you need to wake up, to start working at 12:30. Instead of being like, oh my god, but I've started late, start. You and your systems are in collaboration. You're working together for your own good, not to become the next robot. Unless you're auditioning to become the next robot or AI, know that you're going to remain human, and at some point your systems and you will either collide or need to be readjusted. And that's why I emphasize on having a rhythm that includes even reviews of your goals. Does this goal still align with me? Is this who I am still trying to become? Okay? Or maybe this is just making it too complicated for my brain, whereas I could invest my time and energy elsewhere and it would reap better fruits for me and be aligned more with what I want for myself. Okay, think of it like that. Okay. In your goals, I would assume there are habits that you'd like to live in your previous year, and there are habits that you'd like to embody more of, right? For example, the term doom scrolling is mentioned a lot, and most people are usually like, stop doom scrolling. And then, what do you substitute the time you are using doom scrolling with? Okay, think, substitute bad habits for good habits, and it's even better when they are almost the same thing. For example, there's a video I filmed and I was talking about the artistic obsession, okay? And an artist is going to be obsessed with something at every point of their life. At least that's what I've learned from my experience. And for example, I don't want to be obsessed with some things. So what would I rather be obsessed with? Like for example, I replaced my obsession with certain stories with zero base one. Now I can consume a lot of zero base one content, and throughout my day also the thoughts I have are of zero base one rather than what I was obsessed with, which I did not like for myself. Okay. This one is really important. If you don't get anything else in this video, this is the one, okay? Think of your time, your energy, and all the resources you have as money. And every time you spend them, you invest, and whatever you invest in grows. For example, whenever you're scrolling, you're investing your time in scrolling. Is it helping you earn more money? For example, maybe scrolling is part of your job because you're a content creator. You need to maybe keep up with trends. You need to see what people who are similar to what you're doing also doing. You know, that's an investment, right? As opposed to just scrolling for the sake of scrolling. And looking into your goals and having goals will teach you how important your time, your energy, and all the other resources you have, including your presence, are valuable. And you will naturally not align with things that don't respect your time or your energy, because you are going to constantly be thinking that, oh, but I could be doing something that is more valuable to me. Okay? Last but not least, reduce the barriers you have to entry. Quick question, how did you know I learned business in uni? Oh my god, I love how my degree is popping up even in the work that I have chosen to do right now. Okay, so reduce the barriers to entry in the process of embodying your dream woman. What do I mean? For example, one of my goals is to film, and I have this routine that's lengthy, that's very, I have all these steps that I must do before filming. What do you think will happen by the time I'm filming? I'll be very tired. I need to rest from my pre-filming routine. How about I just dance and film? How about I just do one thing that maybe calms my nerves and film? Now take this and apply it to your unique situation. All those barriers, all those unnecessary things that you have to do before you embody that characteristic of your dream woman, reduce them. Okay? Thank you so much for spending your time and energy with me, my darling specials. I hope this video is a blessing in your life, and please share with me in the comments how you have felt about this video. I'd love to hear that from you, and what are also some of the things that you do in your life that work for you in your goal setting process. Okay, that's all for today, my darling specials. Till next time, annyeong.
Wait, don't leave yet. Something really important I forgot to mention is the importance of goal setting, especially at the beginning of the year. I know the goal setting process may feel like it puts so much pressure in your life. There are also questions of, will I actually achieve this? Is it possible to actually achieve this? Nevertheless, I think it's very important to still set the goals, because you will have somewhere to refer from every time. And if you even achieve a fraction of your goals, you have grown as a human being, and that's really what matters. Okay? Engage in the goal setting process, even though it sounds scary. Now, bye for real. Have a nice week and life. Annyeong.